straight face. Sitting here with the owners of Stone Mountain Public House, Mr. Jeff Carey and Mr. Rory Webb. One of the best spots to smoke cigar.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. And I guess I'll share this with the world. We're getting everybody's Carver moment. But this very table where we're sitting now, and Rory, you can attest to this. I get a phone call from Rory. I just had a terrible day at work, right? Terrible day at work. Not going into too much detail, but my personal life was in shambles, you know. Every man, I say 25 and up experiences that. I won't go into too much detail, but it was just a bad day. And Rory called. He's like, "Hey, you coming by here?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm about to pop a sinus pill and call it a night, right?" He's like, "No, you need to come by here. Some people that want to meet you. They're smoking your cigars." And I was like, "Nah, Rory, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it." He's like, "No, come on." And I was like, "Okay."
He doesn't take no for
Yeah, he really. Rory Webb does not take no for an answer. So I came. I was hungry. I said, "Oh, you know, I might as well eat." My family was out of town. I was down in the dumps. And I'm sitting at this very table, and I met the Lomax family.
Yeah.
The Lomax family, whom Mr. Sanders is a member of.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
There's a vote next
There's a
week.
vote.
Yeah.
But as of right now, he's in there. But the funny thing was, you know, we talk about Carver moments, but this company was started based upon memories of my father and my uncle and one of my older cousins just imparting wisdom on, you know, and not just me, everybody, you know. They were older and they had a lot of stories to tell and they helped a lot of people. But the Lomax brothers, my uncles as I call them, they were all sitting where Mr. Sanders is right now, and I'm sitting right here. And just memories of my dad and my uncle getting on to me. They didn't pull any punches. You know, they told me what I was doing wrong. And I cowered in my little chair. And I just listened and I took it all in. And, you know, these guys, you know, especially Mr. Sanders, we talk, daily? Well, if not every day, every other day.
He texts me every morning with the daily devotion.
Yeah, send daily devotions
nice.
every morning, and they've got a group chat. It's how many members in that thing?
Probably about 13, 14.
13, 14, and you know, it's become part of my daily routine. I wake up and all right, let me see what's on the phone. Let me see who's doing what, and it, you know, not that Dad and Unc can be replaced, but you know, it kind of fill that void for me. It gives me something to look forward to every morning. But that happened here at the public house.
You know, and the reason I was so persistent with you was because one of the things I found is that there are a lot of people who love cigars and smoke cigars and never get an opportunity to meet an owner of, you know, a cigar company or the creator of that blend.
Right.
And so for some people, they may not care less. Oh, it's nice I met you. For other people, they become, you know, it's like such a privilege to have been able to meet you. They love your product, and now I met the owner. And we were talking about this earlier, actually. That
creates loyalty.
Yeah, it creates loyalty because some people will be like, I'm only going to smoke this cigar because I know the owner. I met the owner, and so this is my go-to cigar. I'm going to walk into a cigar store, and the first thing I'm going to ask, do you have a Carver cigar?
Right.
Because I know the owner. Yeah, you know, but for some people, that's a real privilege to get to meet the owner. It also gives more in depth to the cigar because you can ask them questions. Why did you create this? What is the blend? Why did you do this? And now they're smoking something they have a much better understanding than if they go pull, you know, a Rocky Patel or a Drew Estate off the shelf, which are good cigars too, but they don't know the owner and probably never will, and they don't know the actual backstory, and so. You know, I think it lends a lot of credibility, and it was their birthday, if I recall, right?
Yes, yes.
So they were twins, right?
Dale and
yeah.
Dale, yes.
So it was their birthday, and I recommended the Carver cigar, and they loved it. I mean, they were like, "This is a great cigar." So I said, "Would you like to meet the owner?" And they were like, "Yes." So that's why I was on the phone with him, saying, "You've got to get in here." But Because it made a special moment for them. Not only the cigar made a special moment, but the fact that they got to meet Frank really just made it an amazing evening. And
this may be a little metaphysical, but I think, no, it's a lot metaphysical, but I think that the backstory of any product adds to the emotional experience of that product. So there's the Uncle Silas.
Uncle Nearest.
I'm sorry, Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest. Great story.
So, and that to me makes me appreciate the product more. And so, like, hearing the story of why you went doing the cigars and what you're doing, that to me, it maybe all up in here, but it infuses that experience of that sharing that love.
And it makes it more personal.
Yeah. And so I think stories are the foundation of our existence. I mean, the life we live is a story that we tell ourselves.
I agree. So you're speaking my language because as a postdoc PhD, the basis of my work is based on narratives. So narratives is a fancy way of telling a story.
Exactly.
I had an opportunity. I was supposed to be here that night, but I couldn't make it. But I was like, I gotta meet Frank, and I got a chance to meet him at Southside Premium Cigar. Shout out to Phil and Sean. And I like a good full body stick, and just because the stick is dark doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be really strong. And I smoked this cigar, and it's what we call, it has a very chewy. It's very chewy. I've had dark cigars that are just like smoking a firecracker, and you put it down, and it's like I don't want anything else to do with that because I just felt like I just smoked a firecracker. Whereas with this one here, and then I meet Frank, and he tells me his story. I shared my story, and the one thing that's really great about stories is they intersect.
Yeah, they do.
They intersect. Jeff and I were out talking about his preaching experience and his stories and growing up in the church, and we were able to connect there. It's just a wonderful thing.
And stories are always better told when you have a stick in your hand.
Absolutely.
Always.
I've heard it said that we live in a very diverse world, and we can argue about political positions and all of that, but when you sit down with a good cigar, it eliminates all of that. No matter what somebody might smoke a flavored stick or a dark cigar or whatever, but it's the equalizer.
One of my favorite sayings, I have no idea where I heard it, or maybe I made it up, I don't know, is you are uniquely different, just like everybody else. And that's kind of where the cigars are. We can celebrate our uniqueness, but realize how much alike we are in our uniqueness. So,
Stick will do that. The leaf will do that.
I have to chalk that whole experience up to divine intervention.
but life is full of
like
divine
you said,
appointment.
you can't tell this man no. He called me 3 times. In that last call, I was like, look, just get over here. I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. But to your point, and every time I talk to Mr. Sanders, he tells me call him Cedric all the time. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. All right, but
I'll teach you how to say no.
Yeah, it's because I just got so much respect for him, man. I talk to him and I talk to you guys, and just memories of my father, and one thing you guys embody this. You want to give everybody a seat at the table, but also a level playing field.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here. It's regardless of not once has race, religion,
Sex.
No,
I mean, we have a lot of women that come in here.
I thought you were
okay.
No, we're not talking about that.
I'm scared if we give Jeff about 10 more minutes, that conversation will probably come up, right? But
Mia's not here today.
It's on the tip of his tongue, and Mia's not here. But sex, sexual orientation, political views, nothing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's just level. We're just sitting here, just vibing out, having a good time, smoking
Exactly.
a great stick, and that's what it's all about.
And when you have those conversations where it's not a matter that might slightly disagree. It's not that it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's just that you realize that you said everyone deserves a seat at the table. Everyone's voice is valid. Now, what you do with that is on you, but bringing the conversation to the table, and you can have these, and we've
had some amazing conversations that were
on all those
would have maybe
subjects.
gone south very quick if we all weren't sitting around smoking a stick. Seriously,
Living in
it
the
brings
moment.
that combined thing in. Just to let you know, though, I didn't insist on you coming here for you, because you know what? These guys were already Carver cigar lovers. They loved the stick. I did it for them because they got an opportunity to meet the face behind that cigar. And so, but it was amazing for them. That experience was amazing. And
But it was reciprocal because it worked out for him.
it did work out for him too. That is absolutely true. And so, but that wasn't the motivation behind demanding that you come in. Sorry about that. But anyway, but it really was. It really was more. It really was. Sorry, not sorry. It really was more for them because they were really enjoying your cigar so much. I thought, how exciting would it be? And when I said to them, "Would you like to meet the owner?" and they're like, "Yes." So I knew it would be exciting for them, and maybe not for everybody, but a lot of people when they actually get to meet the owner of a cigar company and hear the backstory and you know it gives a more personal bond to that cigar.
Okay, so you want to know the whole truth of it? It had nothing to do with any of that. It had nothing to do with you, nothing to do with Rory, nothing to do with them. Rory just was tired of entertaining him.
Oh.
No, they were amazing. They were fun. As a matter of fact, once Frank showed up, I was out of the picture. They didn't want anything more to do with me, so.
You know, it's funny. We laugh about it, and yeah, they're probably tired of you, Rory. But I really have to give credit where credit's due. It was divine intervention because I needed it. I'm man enough to admit I was in a dark place, y'all. I was.
You know what's beautiful is I wouldn't have known that when you came in.
I wouldn't have either.
Well, I mean, the vibe changes when you hit the door. I mean, you said it earlier. First thing you say is "Welcome home," you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a little different for me because I get welcome home and I get lost. But you know, that's and I can say it. We're friends. We're good friends. That's love. When your footsteps across this threshold is love. And you know, even now, I look at the four of us, and I see an empty seat. And I want to make this a regular thing because somewhere out there's a young man or a young woman that needs to get something off their chest and needs the wisdom of the village of the elders. And this, you know, this is the hot seat right here.
The empty
this
seat.
is the empty seat, and you know, anybody who may be watching this is your seat at the table right here.
Sorry, I was not behaving myself. I forgot we were still filming.
I'd like to pick up on two things. So we talk about race. We know race is a construct.
Oh yes, it is.
Time is also a construct.
Yes.
And
Yes.
one of the greatest things I heard about cigars is they're meant to slow time down.
Yes.
You know, if I go out, I'm a late night. I like to go out late, fire stick up, bourbon, craft beer, whatever, and a good book and some jazz. That's something my dad passed on to me too.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm in a hurry and I'm puffing, I stop myself and say, no, don't waste this, because this is meant to slow time down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, time is a construct. You know, we're busy looking at our watches and our phones and gotta be here. Like you said, Jeff, I can identify with the OCD.
He put the chair back.
I heard a story where you know, talking about, you know, what's bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
This guy said he went to his doctor and he said, well, you know, I smoke a couple cigars a day. And the doctor said, well, why do you do it? He said, because it relaxes me, it centers me. He said, well, keep smoking the cigars because the stress will kill you before the stick will.
Yeah, and that's true.
That is
so true. If I could show you a picture of what I looked like prior to what I look like now, you would go, oh my God, that's not the same person. You look happy. You look relaxed.
Younger.
I look younger.
Right.
I know it's hard to believe.
Yes.
I could
Extremely,
actually.
yes.
You know, we had You were talking about that safe place thing, and it reminded me of Sarita. Oh, can I? Yeah, I can say it.
Yeah.
Because he's filming, and it makes me nervous. But Sarita, we've known Sarita since we were a coffee house on the other street, and she actually became a cigar smoker. She hadn't smoked cigars. When we went to the membership, or the semi-private membership and all that, she did that just in support. And she goes, well, I probably won't smoke cigars. Do you know that she shows up to every member's party? She comes with her dog Smoke, and enjoys cigars now. And she brings friends so that they can experience the cigar life. But there was one story that's just kind of mirrors what you said, that just, I think she would be okay with me telling it. She was extremely affected by when Prince died. And she came here because she said, when I walk through the door, she's the other person that said that. She said, ooh, God, I'm getting emotional. When I walk through the door, I feel love and I feel safe. And to me, that's not a marketable thing, and who gives, but to me, that is the best reward, is when people yes, we need people to spend money so that we can keep the doors and the lights on and all that. But when people come here because they feel safe, loved, and welcomed, that's like the biggest reward. That's the reward. That's the goal, is to create community. And actually, prior to that was our goal. Cigars helped us to fast forward that goal, because adding the cigars brought that sense of community that didn't exist. And anyway.
And if you ever walk through that front door and you don't feel love and welcome, order a smoked bamboo and a Carver cigar, and in 15 minutes you'll feel it all, because it'll be there. So, yep. But I doubt you would ever walk through that door and not feel that. So the minute you walk through that door, you're usually greeted almost immediately, when possible. Obviously, sometimes everybody's busy, but as soon as they can recognize you, you'll be greeted, and you'll be family when you leave. You're family when you walk through the door. You just don't know that until you leave.
Another divine intervention reference. So you remember, and shout out Anita Allgood, my cousin. I love her, big sister. The young lady I brought 2 Sundays ago.
Yeah.
World's biggest Prince fan. And Stanley, the pianist, did not know Purple Rain. I asked him if he could play it. And this is how amazing he is. He played it on his phone, right? Listened to it for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not paying him to listen to music for 30 minutes.
And so, all right, so 30 seconds. But no lie, and I'm on camera, I can't lie. About 20 minutes later, everybody in here was singing Purple Rain.
Yep. Stanley's very talented.
Yeah.
And Stanley has a heart that, I tease him. Well, I tease everybody. But
you're consistent.
yeah, I am consistent.
Very consistent.
But he takes a break at around 9:30 or whatever, and if somebody's made a request of something, and he can find a video or YouTube of it, he'll go and listen to it while he's just chilling out and taking a break, so that he can come back and try and play it. So yeah, he's got a good heart.
Our other pianist, David Reeb, is equally as talented. I mean,
Oh,
David will
yeah.
do the same
David's very
thing. Yeah. So
That just embodied the whole vibe of the place, though.
Yeah.
You're making somebody, because that made her night. And you guys, I mean, even Stanley and David as well. That's normal for them.
If I
They
remember
probably think
correctly,
nothing
she's a
of it.
good hugger.
She's a good hugger. Anita, you are a good hugger. Jeff said you are a good hugger.
absolutely.
Well, I just also wanted to add, I have roots in this community, and that I policed here
Really?
during the
Yeah.
90s.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
But
Thank you for not arresting me.
So
So
you
we're
want that paper.
during that period of time, we would, those of us that worked nights, we called morning watch for those civilians. Chiefs used to make us come out and shake every doorknob. And we absolutely hated these establishments for that reason. Because it was a lot of craft shops along here, a few eating places. But when my brother told me that there's a cigar lounge downtown, I said, what? Stone Mountain, you know. And when I came here, I was like, wow, this is great. Where were you guys back in the 90s?
Florida.
And, you know, to come here and to see and, you know, to sit out. And of course, Mia, we got to give a shout out to Mia.
Yes.
Yes.
Where'd you guys get her from?
Oh, yeah.
I picked her up in a bar.
Yeah.
I think I'm afraid of her.
Yeah. Well,
Drink
should
this.
be.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
should be afraid of her.
Yeah, okay.
You should be afraid of her.
All right.
But she
No.
makes sure that everybody is good. Are you good?
You know, we met Mia at it's since burned down, but there was a local watering hole. It was a pretty rough place. But when we were building out the other building, it was the only place that would open, and we'd go there in the middle of the night. And Mia would usually be at the bar, and that's where we met her, and we became friends prior to that.
And she'd come into the coffee house quite often.
And she'd come into the coffee house, and then one day she was sitting at the end of the bar. She had a job at Office Depot as a floor manager, some sort of
Manager.
I think floor manager. And she wasn't happy. And Rory was talking to her and said, well, you know, why don't you come to work here? And I'm standing behind Rory going, no!
So Jeff did teach her how to bartend, but Mia's one of these people who has to excel in everything she does. So she would go on and start doing all these YouTubes and all of these online things, and she became an absolute mixologist. She's not a bartender. She's a mixologist. She understands the flavor combinations. She understands how to make drinks. She's constantly creating things. One of our most famous pizzas is called the On Fire, and she created because that's what she wanted to eat. And so with the ingredients, she ended up saying, hey, can you make this? And we ended up putting it on the menu because it was that good. So she's always constantly learning and improving herself and
creating and growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say about this place. You know, me and Cedric, Mr. Sanders, we were talking about this. This is one of the establishments to where the employees kind of have the same morals and standards as the owners. So, you know, as a business owner myself and the other prospective business owners out there, I mean, what do you guys look for when you hire somebody? Because
I could tell you. I went to the University of Miami. It's all about the U, baby. Okay, so I went to the University of Miami, and I took
Do you
business
always have
management.
to do that?
I always have to. It's in Miami. So, and I took business management, and the very first day of class, the professor said, I want everyone to write down what their definition of a good manager is. Take as many sheets as you need, make sure your name's on every page, and then turn them in at the end of the class. So everybody turned in their papers. There was like a stack like this. He walked over, picked them up, walked over to the garbage, and dropped them in the garbage and said, you all failed.
really,
Take out a piece of paper. I'm going to tell you the definition of a good manager. And he said, the definition of a good manager is someone who hires people they don't have to manage. And I've carried that with me my entire life. Mm-hmm. And so when we look to hire somebody here, we look for people we don't have to micromanage. We don't have to manage them. But we also look for personality. If you got great personality, I can teach you to wait on tables. But I can't teach you to be bubbly and nice and care about that person's experience. Jeff and I, people will call us on a Monday, and they'll say, are you open? And we'll say, no, I'm sorry, we're closed Monday and Tuesday. Are you in the Stone Mountain area? And if they say yes, I say, what are you looking for? Are you looking for cigars? Are you looking for dinner? If they say dinner, I tell them all the restaurants that are open in the village on a Monday. And a little bit about each one of them. If they're looking for cigars, I send them to, Life and Times in Lithonia or Smoking Phoenix, which is, over off of Five Forks Trickham. So I'll tell them where the other cigar places are. Because, we should be here to help people. Most restaurants you call on a Monday and they're closed and they say, are you open? No, I'm sorry, we're closed. Click. And we don't ever do that. Somebody walks to the store and they're like, I don't know how they didn't know we don't have cigars because out front it says cigars everywhere. But they'll walk in and they'll go, oh, you have cigars here? And we say, yeah. And I said, you looking for dinner? Yes. And I walk them outside and I show them, point them in the direction of all the restaurants in town and tell them a little bit about the restaurant. Right. Because, we should be here to help each other and to make sure people's experience are wonderful. And you know, when you do that, you know, we've gotten some 5-star reviews for somebody who's never eaten here, never even been in here, because we told them on a Monday where they could go, and they'll put a 5-star review for us saying, you know, they were closed, but they helped me out. They told me all the places I could go eat. And I'm, you know, visiting from out of state. I'm staying in the park at the hotel or at the campground, and they were nice enough to take time to tell me where to go. So, you know, it's all about experience, and your experience has to be amazing. Actually, there's 3 things that make a place successful. One is ambiance, because when you walk through the door, that's the first experience you have. Right. And you walk into some places and it's just a bunch of tables lined up, maybe nice decor and stuff, but it's still kind of cold and whatever. You know, so ambiance is so important. People walk in here, and I know when somebody's new here because they walk in and this is their reaction.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're new. So, you know, but the second thing is service. Service has to be beyond what's expected.
Everyone has to feel special.
Special, right. In New Orleans, they have a saying called lagniappe. And it means that little something extra that was given to you that you did not expect. They went above and beyond. So we offer lagniappe here all the time. And the third thing is product. You have to have an amazing product. So we've got some of the best cigars you can buy, including Carver. And we've got the best. And we've got our bartender, as I told you earlier, is really a mixologist. She makes drinks like, I mean, people come here and say it's the best old-fashioned or Manhattan they've ever had in their life. And then you get it smoked. That's an extra bonus. But then also our food. We only serve the highest quality of food. And if it's not, it comes off our menu. So, you know, you offer those 3 things, you've got a winning combination. And I think we offer all of that. And we pride ourselves on that. And, you know, it's if you're missing one of those 3 things, you're mediocre. You might have the best food in town, but if the atmosphere is bad or the service is bad, it becomes mediocre. And so you have to hit all 3 of those, and I think we do that.
Well, you know what, and somebody said to me, because we've talked about, like, people say you have such a successful place and blah blah blah. I think.
Is that you or me?
It's both of us, I think. But
no, it's just
there
you.
we go. But no, and I talk about.
Can I get you something to drink?
1863. I talk about our business model.
Right.
It's a little unorthodox because the bottom line, we watch it. We watch the bottom line. We watch costs. Well, no, he doesn't. I do. I'm the one who says, I'm shutting down your credit card if you don't stop. But we focus more on the experience of the person and the way somebody feels.
Right. Is this call right?
Oh, it's Calvin. We'll call you back, buddy. Yeah. No, we're not. It's fine.
It's the profound effect you can have on someone else's life, and when you hear that, it's kind of amazing, and it kind of sometimes sets you back because you're like, you know, that wasn't my intention. My intention was just to be nice. I didn't realize that I might have changed her life, or I might have at that moment changed her life. And but it's so nice to, you know, to hear those things. But that's what we do. It's always, you know, I mean, I'll give you a good example. We put food in front of somebody and they only eat a portion of it. You know, we want to find out why. Maybe they didn't like something about it. Maybe it was too spicy for them. Maybe it was something. We'll offer to get them something else, but that comes off their check, and it's not even questioned, and we try to give them something else, and many times we'll even now, don't do this when you come in here to get free food. But,
it's like,
but we will.
Like, they're filming this. No!
We will bring you something else out and then not charge you because that interrupted your experience. That maybe, you know, we don't ever want that to happen. We don't want to be. We want you to leave here having an amazing experience and loving everything. And you know, it's just that's just in our nature. But like I said, sometimes when you're just being who you are, it can have an effect on somebody else that you don't even realize because you're just doing what you're doing. I think I'll tell a story. One time I was walking into a bank,
Oh, I was wanting to push you to tell them.
Oh, okay, that's
We're
crazy.
on the same page.
We are on the same page. And this woman came out, and she looked like, well, she was angry, she was upset, she was crying. She came out, and you could tell maybe she got turned down for a loan, or I don't know what happened, but she came out of there just really distraught. And I don't know why, but I just smiled real bigger at her, and I said, "Good morning," and smiled at her. And I went up to the door, and she was down the bottom of the steps. She turned around and said, "Sir," and I turned around, and she said, "Thank you." And, I was like, what did I do? And then when I got inside, I realized maybe it's just because that was the first smile she's gotten all day. And so, we can do things that are very small that can have a profound effect on somebody else, and we don't realize that. It's like crossing this crosswalk. We have a member here, I should probably say, but who, if a car doesn't stop, he starts screaming. No names. Starts screaming at him. Oh, stop. I'm walking across, and somebody, I see they're on their phone or something, and they're not going to stop. I step back, but a lot of times they'll slow down and stop, roll their window down, and say, "I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "Hey, no problem. You didn't hit me. We're all good." It's just. And I'm on the
curb going, "Why didn't you hit him? We need the insurance."
Right. but the thing is it's like, if. And I'll give you another quick example. I was driving here from the store or something, and I was at the light, and I stopped, and how we do with our phone at the light, which we shouldn't do, but I'm looking at something. Now you
can get a ticket.
I could.
It's videotaped.
Not text and drive.
No, I was stopped at a stoplight. I know it's still illegal, but I looked at my phone because it had beeped, and the light had turned green, so the car behind me blew their horn. Not a little, beep, like time to go. It was like, ah! So I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I waved at the window. "I'm sorry," and I drove because it was my fault. I wasn't paying attention. Pulled into the parking lot here. They pulled in behind me, screaming at me, and I just got out. I said, "Listen, I am so sorry. I'm totally at fault here. I wasn't paying attention, and I am very sorry." And the guy was taken back and just sort of said, like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry too," then, and drove off. It's how you react. I could have reacted back to him the same way. I could have been saying, "I was, what is your hurry?" But all I would have done was fuel his already anger, so I was able to diffuse it. And that doesn't always happen, but, I believe that you should, you can create more animosity, anger, and stuff just by.
I like animosity better. It's a bigger word.
Yeah, it is a bigger word, and I have that box too.
You like big words.
He's got big words.
I do have big words.
You get a bell every time you say something.
Well, he doesn't pronounce them right half the time, but he does have big words.
It's the intention. So, but do you have enough film in that thing for all this? Okay. So,
You talk a lot.
I do talk a lot. But, I think that's the whole kind of mindset that we come into here with. If somebody comes in here and they're upset about something, whether it doesn't matter what it was, whatever they perceived to be, maybe they didn't feel they were attended to quick enough, or, they didn't like this or they didn't like that. We always try to make it right before they leave. And we'll offer as much as we can. If there's a time where we can't hit that mark, we at least tried. And so, but we want everyone's experience, not just in here, but in our lives. When we're out on the street, when we're whatever, we want people to.
I just had an aha moment.
Oh, well, amazing.
Not to cut you off.
No, cut me off.
Something you just said, somebody we all know, he's my big brother, Robert Carroll. Robert. Your buddy, Robert. Mm-hmm. He comes down here from Tennessee. Hour and a half drive from Chattanooga. And he'll let you know he's coming. He'll be like, "Hey, get the 2 chairs in the car." I'm like, "Look, man, I ain't got no control."
Usually Channel 2 News lets us know.
Yeah, kind of Robert Carroll.
Call us. We'll get the 2 chairs.
Yeah, I haven't pulled, but he said those exact words. He's like, "I need something like this." He's in Chattanooga. He said, "We need something like this here." He said, "Because when I come through the door, I envision myself." He's a supervisor with the city, foreman, construction. He said, "Man, after a long, hard day, I need this." He said, "I need to go sit in that chair, get my stick, get my drink. Don't even have to ask for it, and be around those friendly voices."
I might add too. I heard of barber. We all had the Saturday morning barber experience.
Yes, sir.
You walk in there and there's 800 people waiting to get their hair cut.
Mm-hmm.
And this barber said, you never rush the person in the chair to get to the next customer.
Right.
Because eventually, you won't have anybody in here.
Well, they're the next. You're going to rush the next customer.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be rushed.
And that doesn't happen here.
It's therapeutic.
That doesn't happen here. To your point, Jeff. It does not happen. Rory.
My aha was, it clicked with me because, okay, so now I've been told this is a male genetic thing, but I think sometimes it's just a people thing. We're fixers. Somebody says something, and we try to give them advice, fix their problem, and do all of that. And what you just said, it's like, no, I don't think my responsibility is to help somebody fix their problem. I think my responsibility as a human being is to give them the space to step back. And that's kind of what happens is you come in and you just step back from your day. You come in and you step back and you start to live in the moment. And when you get into that step back, observing your life from a third party kind of view, you fix your own. Or sometimes you realize that things aren't falling apart, they're just falling into place.
Yep. Because we'll have staff come back in the kitchen or something and say to me, oh my gosh, table 2. By the way, this is table 2. Table 2, they're so obnoxious, they're so rude, they're so uptight. And I always say, let's make sure when they leave, they're none of that. So, it's. We also have a saying here too. The customers are not always right, and they're not always right, but they need to leave thinking they were. It's not up to us to make that, determination. So, but I mean, it's just a matter of empathy and compassion and knowing not everybody is having the same day you're having, and and when they leave though, they need to leave happy and having had a good time, or at least not be as depressed as they were when they came through the door. I mean, so it's.
So in essence, you try to make sure they leave in a better mood than they came in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, or
At an elevated, at least higher than they were before they came in the door.
And see, this ties in because, not divulging too much information, but Mr. Sanders has a group chat on WhatsApp, and it's mainly what family members, right? But they were so gracious enough to include me, and I think that's the mission statement of your group, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And did that just come about naturally, or did that's just something that just happened, or
we have actually two chats. One is called Brothers Keeper. So the notion,
I like that.
So the notion of such is about 10 years ago I had back surgery, and I'm on oxycodone, on all of these crazy stuff,
fun stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and it just had my head all messed up. And I was at a place making a career change, and I was having some suicidal thoughts. It was real. And I was sitting there and I was thinking about it, and it's like God tapped me on the shoulder and said, well, if you feel that way, how many other people feel that way? So we came up with this group. It was an organic thing. And we piggybacked on that with another chat called Bourbon and Sticks. So the idea is the Brothers Keeper is more of the what's happening, devotional, life's wisdoms, where the Bourbon and Sticks is kind of, we bourbon and cigars, But what happens is they both cross. But the whole idea is create a safe space. If somebody's having a bad day, and typically with the flow of the conversation, you can tell, you don't have to tell them, put all your cards on the table and let us know. But because we pride ourselves on being in tune to where everyone is, or, whatever. And just like I was saying, Frank sends me, he just started doing it, and I've never been the get up in the morning and pull the devotion in the Bible. I've never been that kind of person, but I'm a night person, but I'm a morning person as well. But you don't realize that how that it speaks to me. You know, I'll read something. So that's the essence of what we're trying to do. Shout out to Bourbon and Six and Brothers Keeper.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love that.
Gotta add them, man. This is needed, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Who we gonna put in the hot seat next? Our cameraman?
Yeah. He said he wanted to join in the conversation.
Yeah, join in.
And he hasn't joined in yet.
Well, I'd have to turn off the camera.
No, Jeff, hold the camera for him. You got the best angle, yeah.
Oh, okay, wait, here we go.
Kelton Gresham.
He's got some hardware right there.
Show me what to do. Is it running?
Yes, it's running.
So just point it at you.
Yep. The little red X. Just keep that on whoever.
Kelton is another good friend and member of the CIG group.
Yes, sir. So, I'm a photographer first and a videographer after that. But I've known Mr. Frank here for a couple of months now, and it feels like I'm with a brother. I feel like I'm with a family member. And now that he's brought me here amongst you gentlemen, I feel like my family just extended. So especially listening to the conversation, it's almost surreal because I don't get a chance to hear men speak like this. I don't get a chance to sit with a group that's already calm. I'm usually the one that's bringing the calm that's while the storm is going on. So for me, even while I'm behind the camera and now in front of the camera, it feels like I'm at home. So thank you for welcoming me home.
Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family.
You better not cry.
Thank you much.
Oh my God.
So I'm not a religious person, but I'm spiritual. So I connect with everybody, every being, every animal, even plants. I connect with everyone, and to be able to be in this type of environment is very pleasurable for me. It's like a heavenly experience because I'm able to just let go, you know. And I'm not worried or concerned about any of you because you have it. You already have it. So I don't feel like I need to implement a little bit more love or watch out for this person or that person because I'm used to watching large groups of people. And so I usually, probably like you guys, I can start to pick out the ones that's kind of struggling through something. And so I'm always trying to be that helpful one. So I start off my morning usually over the top. You know, I read God's word every morning, but it inspires me and it helps me to be able to communicate with people and still be a spiritual person at the same time. So I really appreciate being around you gentlemen, and I really appreciate being able to listen to the wisdom that's coming from each of you. And I can hear the Creator, you know, out of each of you as you begin to speak one way or another. And again, I'm not a religious guy, but I'm spiritual.
So, I'm speaking behind the camera, which you could do too. God is not a religious person.
Ha!
God is spirit.
Absolutely.
Just thought I'd say that, but
And I just want to add, don't get spiritual then with that plant over there because it's seen better days. You're looking for something to help the plant. No, that one's fake. The one underneath it.
Oh,
Yeah, the other one.
that's I think it's an aloe.
It used to be an aloe plant.
It used to be.
Having a hard time.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
I should put it back out. in the
okay.
sun.
The little engine
Okay, so
that
here's
could.
suggestions if you want to. This is heavy.
Yeah, it's got a little weight to it. Yeah.
Suggestion if you're going to open a cigar lounge, live plants don't live.
No. Oh, actually, the biggest suggestion. I'm over here.
Oh,
Camera.
sorry.
The biggest suggestion, to open up a cigar lounge and make a small fortune, you need to start with a big fortune. Just saying.
Okay, you're done. Back to Frank.
You know what? You have a little too much fun with it. Can you take your camera back, please?
No! Wait. Hello. Wait.
Oh, we got some outtakes.
Listen, if you're not having fun in life,
Right?
Great. That's right.
This is great.
Totally the result of bamboo.
you know, that was, no, it's not.
Well.
You know, something my mom
It helps.
always taught me, which, it was weird. Do you know how you rebel against your parents?
Yes.
Okay,
I have a
so
20-year-old.
my parents, they were rather successful people, but they really tried to instill in us the truth that do not make decisions based on money. Make decisions based on what makes you happy, and the money will follow. That's the way I was raised. And I rebelled against that. So I started working at 14, and I had in the bank 2 years worth of college tuition when I went to college. And the truth of my parents and me. So I had all that money saved up because I wasn't going to trust my parents, because my parents didn't know anything, because I was smarter than my parents.
Right.
And I ended up going to college on a 4-year music scholarship. So I didn't need that. Well, I did need it because I used it for books and
Partying.
No, I went to a Baptist college. We did
Partying.
not partying. No, we did not party. I had a 10 o'clock curfew in college.
Hey, I went to a mission school. You can.
Oh no, I can. Okay, yeah, we'll talk because my
I learned the definition of the word heathen. So.
I maybe because I was a rule follower or something, but I had a 10 o'clock curfew. I followed the rules, and the only thing I didn't follow was I would be up studying until all hours of the night.
I went to the University of Miami. It's all about you, baby.
But let me finish real quick.
I'm just gonna say that was everybody majored in party. But go ahead.
And so many times in our lives we build bridges. No, actually, we carry the lumber, the burden, to build the bridge when we get to that crossing, because we know we're going to have this, and we get there and the bridge is already there. And we've wasted all that mental energy getting to that point, and that's what my parents meant. And so slowly I started to adopt that, and we don't make decisions solely. I mean, money does enter into it, but it's where do I find joy? Where do I find pleasure? I mean, there's a verse, the joy of the Lord is my strength. If there's no joy, there's no God.
Right. So, we spend most of our life.
Are we still taping?
The two most important days of our life. The two most important days of our life. The day you're born and the day you find out why. And people search their entire life trying to find out what is their purpose. Why are they here? What is their why? And it took me 61 years, because I discovered this last year, that my purpose is to have joy in life. God didn't put us here to be miserable. God didn't put us here to, hate our job, hate our spouse, hate our children, hate our car, hate our house. That's not why we're here. We're here to enjoy life. And so that's, again, going back to this place even, we want people to enjoy life. We want people to have joy. And that's, to me, the whole purpose of life is to have joy. And if you can have joy in your life, if you don't like your job, you know what? Quit. God will find you another job. Quit. And I know that's terrible, and I might put somebody in dire financial issues if they follow that totally, but the point is that
creators of this station have no legal responsibility for the content.
Right. So, but the point is that if even if you're making half what you were making before, but you love your job, is that not worth it? Is that not worth it? If you absolutely, hate your spouse, and I hate to say that, but there's a lot of people out there that just, it's like they don't want to go home from work. Yeah. Leave them. You know what? That's terrible to say. No, wait a minute. That's terrible to say.
Maybe try marriage counseling first.
Well, maybe try that, but the point is though is that either try marriage counseling first and then leave them if that doesn't work, because the bottom line is you're supposed to have joy. And you know what? I guarantee you, if you left that spouse, they probably would have more joy in their life too. It's that it's the point is we're not supposed to be miserable in everything we do. We're not supposed to be miserable. We're supposed to enjoy life. We're here on this planet for one time. So enjoy, unless you believe in incarnation. But anyway, we're here one time. So while you're here, and even if you believe in incarnation, you're here for this segment. Reincarnation, yeah. What did I say?
Incarnation.
Incarceration.
See,
some people live this life here on Earth incarcerated, and you shouldn't be. But the point is that you should have joy in your life and move on. And
Sorry.
but anyway, I truly believe. So if I'm doing something, Jeff has said this too, with different volunteer groups that we might have. He said, if you don't enjoy doing what you're doing, the project you took on, just come tell me, I don't enjoy this anymore, and move on. And
Stop.
Because you're not supposed to be miserable in what you do. You're supposed to enjoy it. It's supposed to be food for your soul, and you're supposed to absolutely love it. We love coming to work. And I tell people all the time, this is our semi-retirement.
Yeah.
It is, really.
Wait, can I tell my story?
Well, after I tell mine.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm
He's gotta elaborate on the
going to
semi-retirement.
interject. This is our semi-retirement.
Okay.
However, Rory got the retirement. I got hit by the semi. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
No, but this is our... Oh, wait. Because you work much harder than you should.
That was just wrong. He set you up on that.
He did set me up on that.
You walked right into that.
He also mentioned that he was a workaholic.
I'm
and he is a workaholic.
I'm recovering.
Okay, good. Because he does work harder than he should here. But the point is our semi-retirement. Because you know what? If we didn't own this place, I'd be sitting in a cigar lounge right now, smoking a Carver cigar.
Damn right.
And I'm drinking B&B, not Bamboo, but B&B. But I'd be drinking an adult beverage, smoking a cigar. Why not own the place? That's joy. I have pleasure being here, and I'm doing everything I would be doing if I didn't own the place. We actually don't get paid, but that's another story. But
Well, in a sense, in the long run, I mean,
we get paid with things more than monetary.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't put a price on it.
Right.
We can't put a price on that. And so, and another thing I love about this is the people we've met. We'll go into another cigar lounge all the way across town and walk in and know half the people.
Right.
I love that.
It's so awesome. Especially, and I mean, we'll go into a lounge that's almost all black. And we'll walk in, and some people will look at us like, "What are you doing here?" Until 2 or 3 people go, "Jeff, Rory, oh my God!" And all of a sudden we're a family. We're like right in with the group, and so it's just such a joy. We get joy owning this place. We get joy with the people that are here. We get that, and
since we're just kind of talking, and I know we're recording and blah blah blah, but he made me remember. This thought came to my mind that I am the poster child of never say never, because I'm the one who would always say, "I would never do this. I would never do that."
Well, he said, "I'll never own a lounge."
When we were looking for
So those words actually came out of your mouth.
Yeah, they
I'll
did.
never own that.
When we were looking to open a coffee house in this area, we looked at the building on the corner where the pizza place is. We looked in the windows, and I'm like, "Oh, this could really work." We were talking about the ideas and everything, and he said, "Well, if the coffee house doesn't fly, it'd make a great martini bar." And I said, "I would never own a bar. I don't want to deal with that, right?" And I've said I would never smoke a cigar. I've said I never do. There's so many nevers. And it's funny, I know the truth of that. And I'm actually, now that I'm older, not as old as Rory, but older, I'm starting to finally realize, I'm sad that it took me 60 years to get to this point, that never is not about me controlling the boundaries of my life. Never is about me shutting out the blessings of God. So there's a book, because you read, right? It's called There Is No You. Now, I don't agree with everything in the book, but it really slapped me in the face that our life is not, and I said this earlier, our life is nothing more than the story we tell ourselves.